Well, everyone, I love the iPhone 14. It's easily one of my most favorite iPhones of all time, but I wanted to go and break down some reasons why you probably shouldn't go ahead and buy one of these particular iPhones in 2024. Now, this video is hard to make because I love this iPhone, but if we have to be a little critical, there are a few things I can kind of hit on with this particular device. Number one, I think the main reason why I probably wouldn't really recommend buying an iPhone 14 anymore is because how good of an iPhone the iPhone 15 was, and I kind of do think going from an iPhone 14 to an iPhone 15 is probably a really good idea. I feel like with a device like the iPhone 14, it's good and it's great, but the 15 was just substantially better with giving you that dynamic island, giving you USB-C, with giving you a better build quality, that it either makes more sense to go ahead and go up to something like the iPhone 15 with a newer chipset, or save some money or even spend the same amount of money and buy an iPhone 13 Pro and buy that device, which is going to be giving you, a better display with ProMotion display, the same chipset, basically the same amount of RAM, better build quality and better cameras, but you're getting a phone that's a year older, and it probably makes more sense to go ahead and buy that phone. So the 14 kind of sits in between like two different iPhones that were really, really good. And I think it probably makes more sense to go down that particular direction of buying something like an iPhone 15 or an iPhone 13 Pro rather than buying an iPhone 14. And you can even save money and buy an iPhone 13 if you really want to, but then I probably wouldn't do it because the 13 is a worse phone than the 14. But that is kind of the main thing I'd probably throw in there. The other thing, when you're kind of comparing the performance of like those iPhones surrounding even the iPhone 14, there weren't really there wasn't really a performance difference between a 13 and a 14. There was a slight difference, but it really wasn't even that big of a deal. So I think that in of itself is another somewhat kind of big thing to keep in mind here too, because it's like, what's the point of buying that type of device on that type of device when you can go through and buy a phone like an iPhone, 13 Pro and get basically the same performance, or buy an iPhone 15 and get a better performing phone, So that right there is like another somewhat minor thing. Again, that's not the biggest deal in the world, but that was just one other thing that I noticed at that moment as well. On top of that, if you're talking about battery life, the battery of the iPhone, 14 is still good, but it's not amazing and it's not crazy great anymore. And that could be another thing to kind of keep in mind in the back of your head too, that if you are wanting like a better phone or a better experience or something like that, you might want to jump up to a bigger, better phone than something like the iPhone 14. And because Apple didn't really go through and change the chipset on this phone, this and the iPhone 13 have the same chipset. So there's a high likelihood the 13 and the 14 and the 13 Pro are probably going to have the same exact software longevity when it kind of comes down to it. So from that side, that kind of covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.